In my former role as Florida Secretary of State, I worked extensively with CISA in securing our elections infrastructure. CISA was a key partner to state and local elections officials, and I look forward to our work together to ensure that we are advancing cybersecurity across all of the critical infrastructure sectors. My questions, I'd like to begin with you, Ms. Juan Sherman, and specifically in the subject of elections and election security, since it has been designated part of our critical infrastructure. And first this, because CISA has become such an important part of assisting and aiding state and local election officials, would you describe for me some of the things that you think are working well there, or if there are other places where CISA needs additional support or resources from Congress to make sure that you can do that job effectively?
So the election security subsector is relatively nascent in some respects. I think just a little over 5 years old, and the subsector specific plan that guides it also is somewhat outdated. So for the last election, guidance was put out by the Subsector Coordinating Council to ensure that there was more kind of relevant, timely understanding of efforts, and to be able to kind of fill that gap for, or in the absence of an updated plan. In the recent review that we carried out, we did hear from individuals that we spoke with, officials that we spoke with, that and actually as part of the priorities work for last year that we had carried out with CISA, that the agency has done a good job of sharing election-specific information that's general, so kind of nationwide threats to consider, but that there was an interest and a desire for and a need for more locally tailored information. And so the information they had was limited along those lines, and they were looking for more. We also heard that with respect to day of capabilities and ability to have a kind of a quick response for incidents that occur, that CISA should build their capacity along those lines as well.
And you just touched on something that is another area of interest for me, and that is specifically the incident response capability. At present, is CISA able to meet the call when that's coming in, or are you receiving a larger number of requests for that more hands-on critical incident response than you can provide?
I can only speak to the conversations and the information that we had and collected during the course of our specific review, but that is something that we had heard from election officials at the local level, that there was a concern that the agency did not necessarily have those capabilities in place to be able to quickly address an incident that might occur, and they were looking to work and partner with CISA to help build that capacity.
And do you have any thoughts? And another feature, I think, of the approach to securing infrastructure is a need for CISA to work collaboratively with other federal law enforcement partners. Any feedback for us about how that is going, or any input about how the relationships with other federal law enforcement partners are productive or could use additional enhancement?
We didn't collect any information specific to the relationship between law enforcement and the election officials, or didn't come up specifically in the course of our review, so I can't speak in detail to that. But I can talk to the fact that local officials also pointed to limited awareness and conversations or dialogue at the federal level, and that they wanted to see more of that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.